this week. US same-sex marriage changes reverberate around the world. The Pope apologises to descendants of persecuted Waldenses. And homeless haircuts make a difference in Perth.
This is InFocus Christian News and Current Affairs.
A US Supreme Court decision has ruled that laws limiting marriage to heterosexual couples are unconstitutional. The ruling, which effectively legalized same-sex marriage throughout the United States, has prompted celebrations from gay rights activists. A number of church groups, however, have expressed their concern that just one vote in the 5-4 decision of the Supreme Court justices has trumped the democratic rights of the 31 states, whose elected representatives previously voted against same-sex marriage. Catholic, Baptist, Adventist and other church leaders say they'll continue to support biblical marriage. The next challenge for religious groups will be the level of legal protection for pastors, priests and others who, for reasons of conscience, do not want to participate in same-sex weddings. The debate over same-sex marriage is also continuing in Australia, with the Catholic Archdiocese of Sydney targeting businesses that have publicly expressed their support for a change to the definition of marriage. The Australian Marriage Equality Organisation has been coordinating a campaign encouraging businesses to speak up in favour of same-sex marriage. But according to the Gay News Network, a number of the businesses have received a letter from the Sydney Archdiocese reminding them of a significant number of Catholics who do business with them and suggesting that they have overstepped the mark in participating in a political campaign. Attacks by ISIS militants and their sympathisers in Tunisia, Kuwait and France have left dozens dead, hundreds injured and thousands in shock and mourning. According to CNN, some terrorism experts say the shootings and bombings are a response to IS calls for attacks during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan. The religious motivations of the terror movement have been highlighted by the bombing of a Shia mosque in Kuwait, which killed 25. And in Jerusalem, a leaflet claiming to be from a local branch of ISIS has threatened local Christians with death if they do not leave the city by the end of Ramadan. According to Heretics, church leaders doubt the authenticity of the leaflet and say it may be intended to distract from a recent church arson attack in Galilee, which appears to be the work of Jewish extremists. Pope Francis has continued to surprise supporters and critics alike, this time by making an historic personal apology to the descendants of Christians persecuted for centuries as heretics. Beginning in France in the 12th century, the Waldenses lived in voluntary poverty, believed in the priesthood of all believers, kept the seventh-day Sabbath, and evangelized using Bibles in their own language. The movement was nearly crushed by successive waves of persecution, but the Waldensian Church has continued to the present day. Attending a Waldensian church in Italy, Pope Francis asked forgiveness for the Catholic Church's unchristian and inhuman attitudes and behaviour and upheld the unity of all those who believe in Jesus. In the final days before the Adventist Church faces a vote on the issue of women's ordination, one of the denomination's most prominent evangelists has spoken out in favour of maintaining the status quo. In a series of 2 videos, Doug Batchelor argues from the Bible and Adventist church history why ordination should be reserved for men. He also points to the experience of 5 US churches which experienced decline after extending ordination to women pastors.
If history's any guide, voting in favor of women's ordination shattered the mission, theology, and unity of these major denominations.
Delegates of the Seventh-day Adventist Church from around the world are gathering this week in San Antonio, Texas, for the 5 yearly General Conference meetings. Television viewers in Papua New Guinea will soon be seeing gospel messages on free-to-air TV. A formal agreement has been struck between communications company Media New Guinea and the Seventh-day Adventist Church to set aside a time slot for spiritual and lifestyle programming every Saturday morning. Broadcasters say they're keen for other churches to make their contribution too.
Papua New Guinea Limited believes that strengthening the work and mission of churches through television is a guaranteed way of reaching the masses with messages of life and messages of hope.
A new charity has launched in Perth, Western Australia, with the aim of providing a free service to the homeless and disadvantaged that's a cut above. Short Back and Sidewalks says a haircut provides a much-needed boost in confidence and gives the opportunity for some much-needed positive human contact. Short Back and Sidewalks is being supported by a number of established welfare agencies, including the Salvation Army, Uniting Care and St Bartholomew's House. The organisers are excited by the responses they've had. They say they're looking for volunteer barbers across Australia who get a buzz out of lending a hand. And that's the news for this week. For current affairs analysis, lifestyle tips and an inspirational interview, watch the full half hour of Record in Focus. It plays every week on Foxtel's Australian Christian channel, Hope Channel and Digital 44 in Adelaide. Check program guides for details. And of course, Record in Focus is also available at our website, record.net.au. Take a look sometime. Until next week, God bless and I'll see you then.